Hello, welcome to the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast, where it is all about helping amazing physicians just like you create a wealthy life free from burnout and with the financial security to practice medicine on your own terms. I'm your host, Dr. Elisa Zhang. Welcome back to the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast. As physicians, we know how important it can be to have an annual physical exam. We know the silent killers like hypertension or high cholesterol don't scream for attention until it's often too late. We catch them because we have a system of regular screening. Well, your financial life has silent killers too. They are called efficiency leaks. They don't hurt you today and they don't hurt you tomorrow, but over time, they can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost growth, overpaid taxes, and unnecessary risk. Today, we're going to talk about doing an annual deep clean. This is the episode you listen to once a year, perhaps every April, to make sure the foundation of your wealth isn't cracking while you're busy saving lives. Today, I'm going to give you the 5-point annual audit to ensure your mindset and your money are perfectly aligned. Let's start with point number 1, the financial goals review. Even if we haven't put a lot of thought into it, we all have financial goals. Some of the goals that I think almost everyone has include being able to retire someday, buying a home or paying off a mortgage, and paying off student loans for those who have them. Other common goals I hear from physicians include saving for their children's education, paying off consumer debt, and being able to travel more, which means both having the money to spend to travel and the ability to take time off from work to travel. What are your financial goals? Have you actually written them down somewhere? If not, take the time to do that now. And if you already have them written down, then this is your cue to review them. Then ask yourself, how am I progressing toward this goal? Is it structured in a way that lets me measure progress? In other words, is it a SMART goal? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. If not, it's worth refining. Vague goals are harder to follow through on. For example, instead of saying you want to help pay for your children's college, make it concrete. Commit to contributing a specific dollar amount each year to a 529 plan with a clear target amount and timeline. This is also the moment to acknowledge your progress and celebrate your wins, something many of us overlook. As physicians, we often treat achieving goals as the expectation, not something worth recognizing. We're quick to criticize ourselves when we fall short, but rarely pause to give ourselves credit when we follow through. That's a mistake. Celebrating wins reinforces your belief that you can achieve meaningful goals. And seeing progress, even small progress, builds momentum to keep going. Now let's talk about point number 2, the lifestyle audit. Physicians, like everyone else, are prone to incremental creep. You get a $20,000 bonus, and suddenly the car lease gets upgraded. You get a raise, and the vacation budget doubles. Individually, these feel earned. Collectively, they move the goalpost of financial independence further away. Here's your deep clean task. Calculate your burn rate. Look at your total spending for the last 12 months. You can do this by reviewing your credit card statements and your bank statement. Ask yourself, does this spending actually reflect my values? If you're spending $15,000 a year on takeout, but your wealthy mindset goal is to travel more with your kids, then you might have a misalignment. I saw a Facebook post of someone admitting that she spent more than $4,000 a year on Starbucks on herself. Now, maybe she absolutely loves her Starbucks, and that is a reflection of her values. Or maybe she'd rather use that $4,000 on something else. Point 3 is one that everyone hates, but it's the most critical. It's the defense. If you're a high earner, you are a target. It's the unfortunate culture of being in the United States. Your spring cleaning must include an insurance audit. Take a look at your umbrella policy. If your net worth increased by $500,000 or more in the last year or two, perhaps your umbrella policy isn't sufficient for your needs anymore. You should generally have enough to cover your total net worth up to maybe around $3 to $5 million. Perhaps you're thinking, well, I only have a few $100,000 of net worth. Once you start building up assets, start with a $1 million policy and then increase your policy as your net worth grows. Umbrella insurance is relatively inexpensive, costing around $200 to $400 a year for a $1 million policy. The next insurance you want to look at is your disability insurance. Many physicians do have group disability insurance as a benefit of employment, especially if they work for a hospital. If you're someone who has group disability insurance as a benefit of your job, but you leave that job, then you'll lose that coverage. This is why I always recommend every physician to have their own individual private policy. That policy should have a rider for the ability to increase their coverage without new medical underwriting. As your income grows, you may want to consider increasing your disability benefit to cover your growing income. There's usually a time once a year where your disability insurance company allows you to increase your coverage, typically at the point where you're renewing your policy. Then there's checking your dead person's documents. Once a year, check your will and trust. Did you buy a new property this year? Is it actually inside the trust? If not, your heirs are headed for probate. Check the title of your house and whether it's titled to your trust. This is also a good time to check the beneficiary on your financial accounts, meaning all your bank accounts as well as your retirement accounts. For retirement accounts, it's generally recommended to name your spouse as the primary beneficiary and your trust as a contingent or secondary. If you're single, you can name your trust as your primary beneficiary. Talk to your estate attorney to make the best decision of who to name for your beneficiary given your personal situation. I am not an attorney, so do not take this as professional legal advice. Now let's talk about point number 4, the subscription and service purge. This happens to a lot of people. We fall in the software as a service trap. This is a part of spring cleaning where you literally go through your credit card and look for recurring charges that either occur monthly or yearly. What you're looking for are things that you don't use anymore, the medical journals that you don't read, the streaming services you forgot you had, the introductory rate you got on your internet that has quietly doubled after that rate expired. Here's a pro tip for you. Call your internet provider once a year and simply ask, is this the best rate you can offer me? You would be shocked how often a 5-minute phone call can save $500 a year. Finally, we get to point 5, the rebalancing. Over time, the assets in our portfolio grow such that our asset allocation can get thrown off. Maybe your stocks did so well that they now make up 90% of your portfolio when you intended it to be 70%. This isn't just about math, it's about risk mindset. If the market drops 20% tomorrow, can you handle that with a 90% stock allocation? If the answer is no, spring cleaning is the time to sell high and buy low. This is where you might have to have a little bit of a mindset shift. Rebalancing is the only time in life where you are forced to sell high. It can feel counterintuitive to sell your winners, but this is how you harvest gains and stay disciplined. Another thing that I find common is that the amount of cash sitting idle in bank accounts has grown beyond the amount actually needed for something like an emergency fund. Instead of selling investment classes that are overweighted in your portfolio, you could consider buying more of the assets that are underweighted in your portfolio. This works best with assets like those in brokerage accounts so that you're able to avoid capital gain taxes. For your investments in tax-protected accounts, like your 401k, 403b, and your IRAs, you can rebalance without worrying about any tax consequences. There are even some platforms that have the ability to auto-balance for you. After you hit these 5 points, you'll find yourself with a cleaner financial house. You know that feeling when you finally clean out the garage? You can breathe. You feel in control. You feel wealthy. Your financial life deserves that same clarity. Don't try to do all 5 of these today. Pick one a week for the next 5 weeks. By the time summer hits, your financial house will be in order, your legacy will be protected, and your life energy will be focused on what matters, your patients, your family, and your peace of mind. I want to offer you a 72-hour challenge. I want you to pick the one task that feels easiest for you and complete it within the next 3 days. Let me know what task you completed by emailing me at growyourwealthymindset@gmail.com. I love to hear about your wins so I can celebrate with you. Thank you so much for being a listener of the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you could share it with your friends and colleagues. And now for the disclaimer. I am not a certified financial planner, accountant, or attorney, and nothing I say should be construed as professional investment, tax, or legal advice. This show is primarily for your education and entertainment. I am a physician, but I'm probably not your physician. So if you need any medical advice, please contact your own physician. Thank you.